to work racist? Seems that some believe so. LA Times reporting that for people of color, remote work gave them a reprieve from racism they don't want to go back. In it, the author claims many black workers and other people of color found that remote work lessened the racism they faced on the job. Throughout the pandemic, survey after survey showed that what some workers of color have known for years. Workplace politics and discrimination can make the office an undesirable place to be. I just guess nobody really wants to go back to the office, but I was thinking about this. Judge, I'll start with you. So the New York mayor, Eric Adams, the D.C. mayor, Muriel Bowser, and the San Francisco mayor, London Breed, are all begging people to come back to the office because the cities are dying. And they need people to come back to the office. They don't think it's racist. I understand some people might have problems at the office, don't discount that, but is this the reason to claim to not come back to the office?
Well, when you think about it, if you claim that racism is a reason not to come back to the office, then what's the solution? Segregation? I mean, think about how backwards the whole thing is. And in terms of everything being racist, I mean, what math is racist, the infrastructure is racist, camping is racist, all this stuff we've talked about. It's like, look, with all of the money that we're spending on DEI and making sure that we have people in companies who are in a position to stop any kind of problem and to move us forward according to the progressive agenda, then it seems to me that, you know, you're more protected now than you ever have been, that there are people looking out for you. So, you know, the truth is racism is the answer to, it's the end all of every argument. It's racist, so I can't do it. I think it's ridiculous, and it's another excuse.
And Jessica, it's not like a lot of these companies are not asking people to come back to like pre-2020 levels. They're asking for 2 or 3 days in the office, so hybrid work. So even if you did have a problem at the office, and hopefully you don't, but if you did, it would be less than before.
Well, and that's why majorities are just going back to work. But this article was recounting information and research that the author had done. She's gone out into the community and spoken to black people who expressed this view. It wasn't a perspective that was being argued by the author themselves. And there was data in it. A survey from 2021 showed that only 3% of black people who work remotely wanted to return to the office versus 21% of whites. That's a pretty big divergence. And one of the people that she interviewed for this was talking about the fact that if he went back to his job in person, he worked in a hospital, that he would have his competency continually questioned, that was something that happened to him all the time when he was coming in just to do his job. He felt that he was always being given the proverbial side eye about how good he would be at doing his job. And I don't feel like I'm in a position to be able to tell people who actually suffer from this kind of discrimination that they're being a bunch
I will then, okay? Because I question the competency of all of my staff. And it doesn't have anything to do with race. I'm constantly giving them the side eye. Like, really? Is that the best guest you can book? It has nothing to do with his race. Bosses question employees' competency. Get used to it.
It was patients in the hospital.
Okay, I don't love doctors either. They always want to overoperate. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I had to bring this up, Jessica. I didn't want to, but I'm not going to let disinformation slide on the show. You bring up Omaha. The first thing I Google, Omaha crime, ABC,
Did you look at the,
ABC News.
Did you look at the rates?
How one city cut gun violence in half and may become a model around the country. You stepped at another rake. Stepped on another rake.
I didn't. Did you look at the rates?
Let me. I'll help you out there.
My face is just fine.
Let's get to Greg on this. You know, I read one thing today that a way to solve all of this and get everybody to really come back to the office happily is to actually give everyone an office and stop this open plan cubicle stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Because people don't want to hear everybody else's nonsense.
This is not a funny story. This is infuriating. I actually, when I hear this, because it's phony. It's phony. The data is, I question all this data on race, as we're finding out more and more, is fudged. If the LA Times honestly trusts this work that they published, their HR director should go down tomorrow morning and go to their staff. White people, please come to work. Black people, stay home. Go for it. I dare you to do that. You can't, because that is racist. This should piss every black person off. This article views blacks as a group all suffering from the same problem. They cannot see the individual. This is the root of all of the evils in our society. The race baiting is because we're seeing people as groups. Number two, they see blacks as a group that are too fragile to handle being at work. What a destructive, sickening excuse. Imagine being black and some pushy white HR liberal comes up to you and says, "Oh, that must be hard to be back at work. You know, maybe you should stay home." You know, if I were black, and maybe one day I will identify as black, this person who wrote this would be seen as an enemy. Because what a way to prevent achievement is to tell people that you cannot participate because the field is too treacherous for you. But not for us, but for you. Think about how disgusting this is. I cannot take this crap seriously. Again, if you take it seriously, I want to see human resources address this so-called problem, because the so-called problem doesn't have a solution, right? It doesn't have a solution. That's why they did this.
Do you know what will also end up being called racist is when remote workers don't get promotions as on the same par with people in the office.
If you said, you know what, you should stay home, that would be racist too.
Right.
So come to work racist, stay home racist. We're all racist.
We can't win.
We can't win. And that's racist.
I'm not.
No, you're not racist.
Right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.